This month, we have a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces and a new moon solar eclipse in the last degree of Virgo. All of this, an empowered moment and more in my new intuitive energy forecast for September 2025. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger here with your monthly intuitive energy forecast. For this month, we're going to be using the Syrian Starseed Tarot by Patricia Corey and Alyssa Bartha. This is going to be the main message for everyone. Your special message card this month, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Gateway of Light Activation deck by Kyle Gray. So before we get into looking at those stones of choice or talking about the numerology or astrology of this month, let's go ahead, close our eyes, take a deep breath, and do an empowered moment. So start out by getting yourself comfortable as you're sitting or lying or reclining. Pay attention to your breath as you breathe in and exhale out. Have awareness that you're sitting up straight, but yet your body is relaxed. And let's start by visualizing, sensing, seeing, feeling, or just knowing that you're surrounded in this beautiful, unconditionally loving golden white light. This golden white light is that of Creator Source, Great Spirit, God, Goddess, all that is. And as you have that vision or feel the energy sensation of that, take in a deep breath and breathe that golden white light into every cell of your body. As you exhale, releasing all that your body, mind, and soul no longer needs for these next few moments. Putting your feet flat on the ground or the floor with your legs uncrossed, your arms uncrossed, so the energy can flow freely. And imagining that you have roots growing out of the soles of your feet and going down deep into Earth Mother Gaia, going all the way down to the center of the earth and grounding your energy into her heart chakra. In the next few breaths that you take, you're breathing in Earth Mother Gaia's nurturing, healing elixir of light. As you exhale, it's being dispersed throughout all of your body, your energy bodies, your organs, your systems, your chakras. And now imagine that you have streams of etheric white light shooting up from your crown chakra and going up, up, up to the highest realms, the highest universal realms, the angelic realms, connecting you with your higher soul self, connecting you with God's source energy. And this time as you take your next few inhales, going to be breathing down from those higher spiritual levels, this beautiful etheric white light of higher vibration, activation, protection. Breathing it down through those rays of light that come down and then through your heart chakra. As you exhale, it's being exhaled throughout all of your body, energy bodies, organs, systems. And focus now on this month of September being one of endings and new beginnings. We're entering eclipse season, and with a full moon lunar eclipse followed by a new moon solar eclipse, this is going to activate a huge releasing transition energy. activation energy into new frequencies. Visualize a portal in front of you. It can be any size, any shape, any color. And as you see or witness or vision this portal of energy, know that this is a portal that will allow you to release and let go and walk away from circumstances, situations, and energies in your life that are no longer needed. And as you step through the portal, allow you to move into a new realm, a new energy, a new frequency, where new beginnings and fresh starts can occur. And if you're not ready to step through the portal, it's okay. You don't have to. You can maybe inch a couple steps closer if you feel comfortable with that. And if you are ready to step through this portal, imagine and envision that you're doing so with excitement and enthusiasm, positivity for what lies beyond into this next realm and frequency. And knowing that you can return to this portal at any time, if you haven't yet stepped through, let's take one last deep, healing, cleansing, and balancing breath. And as you exhale and in your own time when you feel ready, you can open your eyes, returning to this time and place and space. And let's go ahead and get ready to look at our stones of choice for the special message card a little bit later. Okay, so the first stone of choice is called sardonyx. This is kind of a beautiful brown tan stone, and it's got these orangey red color spots on it. And the sardonyx is a stone of strength, courage, and protection. It fosters willpower, discipline, and confidence. It helps to improve communication and creativity. It encourages honesty and integrity. And it activates the sacral chakra for enhanced intuition. And your second stone of choice is called indigo gabbro. Isn't that unusual? Indigo gabbro. And this is a stone of spiritual awakening. It guides you towards the enlightening of yourself. It helps to summon your true power. Its magical effect harnesses the power that lies within yourself, helps you to raise your consciousness to new levels, softens your aura, replenishes your field of energy, helps to expand your mind and your third eye, and helps to invoke clarity and enhanced inner vision. And then the last stone of choice is black opal. And it is kind of a darker brown color, but with black inclusions. That's the word I'm looking for. Black inclusions within this dark chocolate brown color. So the black opal, it helps you to conquer any fears that you might have and gives you the strength to push through things that scare you. Provides confidence to get through obstacles, helps you to stay calm, relaxed, and less anxious. It pushes you to take on new exciting adventures in your life, provides you with an etheric shield against negative lower vibrational energy and emotional toxicity, and protects the emotional body and the aura. So again, your stones of choice for this month is the sardonyx, the indigo gabbro, and finally the black opal. So this is a very powerful month because we have that full moon lunar eclipse this month and then a new moon solar eclipse, and there's some other things that are happening. So let's though start with the numerology energy vibration of the month of September. So first we have to recap that we're in a 9 universal year, right? 2025, if you add those digits together, is the number 9. The number 9 is the last of the single digits. It means it's a cycle of completion. This is a year of closure and letting go and healing and completion of the old paradigm of energies, the old ways that we're living, old patterns from other lifetimes that we've carried forward with us into this incarnation. Now, the month of September is the 9th month of the year. It's always the 9th month of the year. And we add that 9 month of September to the 9 universal energy of this particular year, 2025. And 9 plus 9 is 18. And in numerology, we want to take those 2 digits, the double digit, and we want to add them together, and that reduces to a 9 because 1 plus 8 is 9. So this is actually a 9 universal month in a 9 universal year. This is on a collective level. This affects everybody. So again, we have this double 9 energy, right? So this is a month of closure and completion and releasing and healing and surrendering and having faith and trust and just allowing things to unfold in divine timing. The number 9 is also a number of humanitarian endeavors, coming together with people of like mind or forming community, interacting with others that hold a similar ideal as we do. So this is also about finding your tribe, networking, just really kind of coming together with people that are of that same alignment as you. So definitely reach out and connect with people as much as you can. However, the 9 can sometimes be a little, I want to say, ethereal. It's a very spiritual number, but it's not very grounded. And because we have those eclipses this month that we're going to talk about in a minute, we may, in fact, feel a little bit of anxiety or lack of focus or ungroundedness. So definitely do what you can. Get out into nature. We're in Virgo season for part of the month, right? The sun is in Virgo up until the 22nd. And Virgo is an earth sign. So this does deal with nature, and nature can help us to ground our energies. Now, let's not forget that we want to look at the number 18, right? And we're going to look at it from the sense of what the major arcana is, the 18th major arcana, because in numerology, the 18, if it were a karmic number or a master number, we would pay a little bit extra attention to that. But it's neither karmic nor a master number. But the 18th major arcana is the moon card. So again, full moon lunar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse. You can see the wave of energy that's crescendoing. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's like rising, right? And water is about our emotions, our feelings, our subconscious patterns, what lies beneath the surface of our psyche, even our intuitive, psychic, and empathic abilities. So they're going to be on the rise this month. We're going to be more emotionally sensitive this month. We're going to have emotional waves maybe of up and down that kind of come into our field, And we do have a full moon on this card. It is Luna. Major Arcana 18 is the moon card in the traditional tarot, called Luna in this card. So the moon is part of that divine feminine energy. So the moon is calling to us. The divine feminine energy is calling us forward. That idea of nurturing, mothering, empathy, intuition, but also again about healing the emotions in the emotional body, which is again what we see in the image of this card, of the emotions kind of coming up, the emotional body needing kind of healing. And this full moon lunar eclipse that we have this month is going to really help us to release some of those past life patterns or this life subconscious patterns, the fears, the anxieties, the illusions. That is all kind of wound up here in this moon card that rules the month of September. So let's go ahead and put that aside. Let's talk about the astrology of significance for this month. And there's a lot more going on than just the eclipses. We start out actually on September 1st with Saturn, the great teacher of karmic lessons, Saturn, the planet of responsibility, Saturn, the planet that can rule feelings of limitation, restriction, or being held back, but also the planet that rules structure and form and manifestation. Well, Saturn has been retrograde for a few weeks now. It started its retrograde motion in the sign of Aries. It newly went into Aries this year. And as it turned retrograde, still in Aries, I think it was 2 or 1 degree. I think it was 2, well, it was close to 2 degrees anyway, give or take. And now on this day, September 1st, it's retrograding back into Pisces. So this is significant because Aries, where it went into earlier this year, is the first sign of the zodiac. And it's about new beginnings, initiation of something new. And Aries is kind of that warrior sign of the zodiac, ruled by the planet Mars, the warrior planet of the zodiac. But now we have Saturn, great teacher of karmic lessons, moving back into the last sign of the zodiac, Pisces. And so this combination is allowing us more time to clear out some karmic patterns. So whatever those patterns relate to, home, family, money, finances, relationships, family, or just things on an internal level that you're going through, kind of past life karmic patterns that you chose as a soul to come in with. We're having now the next few weeks, few months time period while Saturn is in Pisces to clear the rest of that out. We're revisiting some things that maybe we haven't totally released or let go or healed or understood or have awareness of or taken responsibility for. Saturn remains in Pisces until February 2026 when it finally goes back into Aries for the next 2+ years. And for this time period, won't return to Pisces for about another 28, 29 years. So it actually turns back to direct motion. I think it's in November. But again, it goes all the way back to 25 degrees Pisces, but stays in Pisces until February. So we've got from now through February 2026 to clear out the rest of this old energy, old stories, old paradigm that we have been living in on a personal and a collective level. And then on the 2nd of September, we're going to shift here to Mercury. Mercury rules the mental realm, thoughts, ideas, perceptions, perspectives, communications, information, logic, messages. And Mercury is moving out of Leo on September 2nd and moving into Virgo, one of its home signs. And it will remain in Virgo until September 18th. That's not really a whole long time. It's 16 days. So just over 2 weeks, it's in Virgo. It kind of moves pretty quickly through Virgo. And Mercury, again, being about logic, analysis, coming up with solutions, ideas. In Virgo, Virgo's very grounded. It's very organized. It's very, again, analytical and solution oriented. So here is where we kind of get down to the details. This is a great time to get organized in your mind, get organized in your area, where you live, where you work. It's a great time to come up with solutions for challenges that have reared up into your reality. It's a good time to take things step by step. It's a good time to communicate logically, practically, and in a grounded way. On the 5th of September, we have Uranus, the Great Awakener, turning to retrograde motion at 1 degree of Gemini. So this is a pretty big deal as well. Uranus rules liberation, freedom, change, redirection, expecting the unexpected, future-oriented sorts of energies. It does rule technology as well, and it does rule shocking events. It can also affect earth changes. So I think that with Saturn moving back into Pisces, with Uranus turning retrograde, with the eclipses that we haven't talked about yet, I feel like there might be some earth events as well. But Uranus is like, it rules lightning. So it can be lightning storms, but it also kind of rules this instability. And so there could be some volcanic activity, which tends to be more Pluto, but it can also be some earthquake sorts of energies as well, as it disrupts, the earth. Because it's in an air sign Gemini, there's something with the atmosphere also that could happen on an earth level. Now, on a personal and or collective level, again, we might come into some surprising new information, especially with it being in Gemini, which rules information. So surprising new information, shocking events, unexpected happenings, can all be a part of the collective experience as well as our personal experience, especially if you know where it's falling or landing in your astrological chart. Now, this we might feel from, the 1st of September as it's slowing down. Uranus takes a little bit of time here as it kind of slows down to a stationary point or a stopping point before it turns retrograde. So especially the few days before and maybe the few days after, this is an active energy. So just be ready and expect the unexpected with that. Then 2 days after Uranus turns to retrograde motion, we have that full moon lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Pisces. Now again, Pisces, as we discussed with Saturn retrograding back into Pisces, is the last sign of the zodiac. The full moon is about releasing and letting go. It's about healing, something coming to a head. The fact that the full moon is an eclipse magnifies and strengthens the energy and lasts a lot longer, so that for the weeks to come, there is something that's occurring here from this full moon lunar eclipse. There's a big release, a big transition, a big death and rebirth, a big kind of ending or conclusion or completion to karmic patterns that we have carried with us. So that's definitely a big event. I was going to say that it actually connects to Venus and Mars, which are the lovers, so relationships and money and finances can be affected with this full moon lunar eclipse. It's also in a positive connection, though, to Jupiter. The Venus-Mars connection is a little bit more of a difficult connection. The connection to Jupiter is a positive one. So even though this is a time period of endings, releasing, letting go, that positive trine to Jupiter is now expanding us into what comes next. Jupiter also likes to look at future. Like Uranus is pretty future oriented. Jupiter wants to look at the big picture, new horizons, and expanding into new territory. So this is actually the hope for the future, the hope for the new beginning, the hope in what comes next kind of energy. And then we're going to go all the way to the 18th of September. This is when Mercury, the messenger, moves out of Virgo and into Libra until the 6th of October. So now Mercury's thoughts and perceptions and communication is all centered around partnerships, relationships, themes that deal with balance and equality, because that's Libra. So there might be more communications happening with significant others in our lives. And whether that's a romantic partnership, a family or friendship relationship, or it might be business partnership as well. This is something that kind of bodes well for that kind of equal give and take and compromise, cooperative sort of energy. And then on the 19th, the next day, we have Venus moving out of Leo, where she was shining her light and standing in her leadership and expanding her heart chakra and love and relationships. She's moving into Virgo. So that's not necessarily her favorite place. She's going to be in Virgo until the 13th of October. And Venus, again, ruling love, relationships, money, finances, values, and self-worth, now takes on a little bit more of a discerning tone. Virgo is a very discerning sign. It can be perfectionistic. It can be a little critical or self-critical as well. So we start to be a little bit maybe more nitpicky, but on the positive side, this is about being organized with our money and finances and really kind of looking at the details of the ins and outs of money. This can be about being a little bit more picky when it comes to relationships and really stating through communication, as Virgo is a sign of communication, of what it is that you desire to have happen without an emotional tone, because this is very mental, very logical with Virgo. Now, when it comes to how you value yourself or your sense of self-worth, we might be a little hard on ourselves with, Venus and Virgo, but Venus and Virgo can also help us to reclaim these lost pieces of ourselves, is the best way I can say it. Venus rules the divine feminine, as the moon does as well. And the divine feminine here is calling back these fragmented pieces, because Virgo, being about the details, it can be about fragmentation, but it's also about reclaiming those fragmented pieces and realigning them, calling them back into ourselves. So these aspects of our soul are being kind of put back together, for lack of a better way to say it, so that we can, rather than be fragmented, be whole within ourselves again, which allows us to love ourselves unconditionally. And then on the 21st of September is when the new moon solar eclipse at 29 degrees Virgo happens. This is interesting because the new moon, the last new moon that we had towards the end of August, was a new moon in Virgo as well, but it wasn't an eclipse. That new moon in August was at 0 degrees of Virgo. This new moon solar eclipse is at the last degree, the 29th degree of Virgo. So there's some theme that started, towards the second half of August that is now kind of finishing the storyline, I guess, with this new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. Now, new moons are about new beginnings, activating or initiating something new. Right before a new moon happens, we're kind of in the dark of the moon phase, where there can be a big emotional kind of release or transitional energy that goes on. And sometimes even with circumstances and situations right before a new moon, if something still needs to be released because we're still in that waning phase of that full moon lunar eclipse, right at the very end of it, it's like, okay, it's time to be done now. It's time to release and let go, because now we're entering a new moon energy, an eclipse here, where it's time to begin again. It's time to again reclaim those lost pieces or aspects of our soul and become healthy, happy, and whole again. In fact, Virgo does rule health. So usually it's about physical health, but we could probably add at least mental health to that. And let's add emotional health, because it is a moon, and the moon rules our emotions and our emotional body. It's in Virgo, which rules the mental or the mental body. And again, the physical body with Virgo is usually what's related to the health. So we're coming into a big, healing phase here. And then we're going to end on the 22nd of September. We've got 2 planets shifting into new signs. One of those is Mars, the warrior, planet of energy, action, and forward movement, moving into Scorpio. If I can look at my notes and see how long that lasts until. It's going to be there until November 4th. And one of the interesting things about Mars moving into Scorpio is that it's the co-ruler of Scorpio, right? We think of Pluto as the modern ruler of Scorpio, but before those outer planets were discovered and recognized as part of our astrology, Mars actually was the ruler of Scorpio. This is very transformative. This is very powerful. This is very deep. This is very, it's interesting. I just feel like there's, what do I want to say? A deep sort of alchemizing energy to Mars, planet of energy, usually physical energy and physical vitality, moving into Scorpio, which rules the deep recesses of our psyche, of our mind, of our subconscious. There's a real kind of energy that's activated with this. Mars is an activator, so it's activating things that are hidden, things that are beneath the surface. Something alchemical maybe is transpiring here. And again, that's through November 4th. And then the other planet that shifts signs on the 22nd is the sun. This is the same time of the year that the sun will always shift into the sign of Libra. So now we're out of Virgo season by the 22nd. And of course, until October 22nd, the sun will be in Libra, highlighting, again, balance, equality, cooperation, compromise, relationships, and partnerships of all kinds. All right, that's a little bit about the astrology. Let's go ahead and take a look at the messages from our angels and guides. Now, the first card actually was alchemy. This is Major Arcana 14. In the traditional tarot, this is the Temperance card. But in this deck, it's called alchemy. So this is starting out right away here with this alchemical process that's taking place. And you can see the fire down below here. You know, fire is heating something up, changing the, I don't know, the integral structure of some sort of energy in our lives or situation in our lives. And there's this alchemical process, this transitional process, which helps us to move into a new energy. It's like taking lead and turning it into gold, right? That was an alchemical process in ancient times. Or when you even light with a very hot flame, you light up sand and it becomes glass. That's an alchemical process. So we're taking one substance situation and we're transforming it into something new. And that's what alchemy is all about. And I don't even know what this is supposed to be. I always think it looks like a planet of some sort. But you can see that this is a very deep, powerful process that's going on here. It's interesting that I just realized the water is up here. And this is part of the Temperance card too. Usually we have the Angel of Temperance on the Temperance card with a vessel of water in one hand and a vessel of fire in the other. And when we think of putting water and fire together, we think the water usually puts out the fire, or the fire, when it heats up the water, creates steam. So it is creating some sort of new, even when you put the water on the fire, it's going to create some sort of steam, right? So it creates this new element. And that's what's happening with this alchemy card. All right, let's take a look at the next card here. The next card is the Ten of Flames. This is like the Ten of Wands in the traditional tarot. And you can see this person, it's almost like they've been in the dark shadows of the dungeon down here, right? And they've got all these wands. They've got one wand in their hand, but the other 9 wands are in a sack on their back. So they're carrying this heavy load, right? They're carrying something and they're moving up slowly but surely. They're moving up these steps out of the deep, dark, shadowy dungeon and towards this light. You know, there's like a corner here. The stairs are going to go up and around this corner. They don't know what's around the corner, but they can see the light emanating from around the corner. They want to move towards that light. They want to move towards something lighter and brighter. They want to get out of that deep, dark, shadowy dungeon. And they've been carrying a lot of karma, a lot of lessons, a lot of challenges, you know, a lot of difficulties, trials, you know, if you will. And so whatever area of your life that happens to be in, you're now lighting your own way as that person is holding the one wand, lighting your own way and taking that step-by-step movement and action with patience to move away from that, to move up and away from that. And the Ten of Wands, it's the last of the minor arcana before we get to the court cards, the page, the knight, the queen, the king. So this is telling us that we're definitely at the end of some sort of journey. Okay, we're at the end of a journey. It's time to release and let go. The suit of wands or flames is about the spiritual realm. So again, we've got some past life karma, some past life patterns, you know, some old mindsets and belief systems, old emotions and feelings that maybe have been rooted in the cellular memory of our physical body. It's like all this stuff. It's time to release that. We're at the end of this, or nearing the very end of this journey spiritually, and it's time to move up and out and away from this shadowy, heavier aspect of where we've been. So the last card came out as 2 cards. So those of you that know me, I often say I usually shuffle till cards fall out when I do these weekly and monthly readings. And these 2 cards fell out together, and they're both very powerful. It's interesting that we end the reading with this, but the first one is Major Arcana 13. In this deck, it's called Transition. This is the traditional death card in the tarot. And basically, this is metaphoric, right? This is about death and rebirth, transformation, regeneration, transition, transmutation. This is like big, it's a big deal. Here's this soul going through this portal of energy. The full moon lunar eclipse, the new moon solar eclipse, those are portals of energy, endings and new beginnings. And here we're in this huge transitory time period of moving up and away from, again, the old paradigm, the old energies, into something new. We're allowing ourselves to be moved into a new level of awareness, a new paradigm of energy, a new initiation experience with this transition card. This can happen in our waking hours, but it can also happen during our sleep and in our sleeping hours. You might wake up one morning and feel more clear, lighter, more ready to move forward, more joyous, more happy, or there's a lot of healing work being done on us during our downtime, and that can be meditation time, self-reflection time, as well as sleep time as well. But even in our conscious waking state, we're going through this wonderful transition energy, but it's still very powerful and sometimes can be a little bit anxiety producing because we're uncertain or unsure what lies on the other side of that portal. And what came out with this card, another real heavy duty, powerful card, Major Arcana 16, the Tower card. These two cards coming out together, that's a very, very powerful energy. The Tower card, now this is what I'll say, is the Death card, the transition card, is usually about inner transformation and change. The Tower card is oftentimes mostly about external change and redirection that's happening in our lives. You can see the lightning bolt coming down. As I said, Uranus shifting to retrograde motion this month. Uranus rules lightning, but this is metaphoric as well, right? This is about that all of a sudden unexpected redirection, change, freedom, liberation energy that comes into our lives with this lightning bolt. It hits the Tower, which is the structure of our lives. It can be the structure, in a career sense. It can be the structure of a relationship. It can even be the structure of our physical body. So it hits that and gives you some kind of big revelation or aha moment, or a need to kind of shift or change, or not even asking you to shift and change, but just kind of pulling the rug out from under you and saying it's time to shift and change. We've got the fire of transmutation here. We've got the person that's falling out of the building or jumping out of the building because there's nothing else to do. The change is upon us. Now, with the eclipses this month, you may see the change being initiated this month during these eclipses, but it could also be in the few weeks that follow, where there's either more unfolding of the change or redirection, or you're kind of on the edge of it, but it doesn't happen until after the eclipses have settled, the energy has settled from those eclipses. But either way, there's some sort of big change, and this can be collectively as well as personally. Okay, so this might be probably both. There's probably going to be some changes, some big happenings on a collective level as well as on a personal level. All right, so looking at the time here, I can see we should probably get to the special message card depending on your stone of choice. So the first stone of choice was the sardonyx. Special message, special guiding message for the people that chose sardonyx for this month of September. Okay, that one is. I don't know what it is, but it says, I am presence. I am presence. And it says light body activation, and accessing the divine within. These eclipses, portals of energy, are, again, clearing karmically what you don't need and activating your light body, activating a stronger connection with your higher self, activating your psychic abilities, activating dormant DNA. It's activating a whole lot of things here. So this I am presence, you're coming more into the truth of who you are, your authentic self, your light body, your higher beingness, higher self. You can see that. I don't know if you can see very well, but this is the image of like an angel. It's got some wings here. It's got a head up here, the body. This is you. This is you spreading your etheric angelic wings. This is you activating the light of who you are. We come from source. We all come from source. And some of us, you know, have lost our way and been through many lifetimes of karmic challenges. And now we're kind of spiraling back up in our evolution and growth. And we're starting to remember who we are. Things, this like the light switch is coming on. This is like the light switch coming on, and your light body is being activated. You're coming into that I am presence, one with universal source God, with divine creator spirit. You're able to access, it says the divine wisdom within, or it doesn't say wisdom, but I just said wisdom, the divine wisdom within. Maybe accessing your Akashic records, maybe accessing again the next step on your true, authentic light path. So that's a strong, awesome message. The second stone of choice was the Indigo Gabbro. Indigo Gabbro, people. Special message for Indigo Gabbro. This one's calling my attention. Ooh, Lemurian seed codes. Gotta love that. Lemurian seed codes. It says at the bottom, embracing sensitivity, uniqueness, and living with grace. So that uniqueness really stands out because Uranus turning retrograde this month. Uranus is about being your unique self. Allowing your unique creative talents to come out into the open, beating to the beat of your own drum. Some of you may have had lifetimes in Lemuria. That Lemurian energy of that lost civilization is being activated within you. It shows a crystal here because if some of you don't know, there are Lemurian seed crystals. They have a lot of ridges on the outside of the crystal, like grooves in a record. And those grooves are encoded information in those Lemurian quartz crystals. So maybe this is a call for you to pull your Lemurian seed crystal out or go and get a Lemurian seed crystal and really meditate with it, utilize it for healing, allow it to help activate you. Whether or not you have or want to get a Lemurian seed, it doesn't matter. This is happening. There's some rainbow energy in here. It's highlighting all the chakras. It's realigning your chakras. It's balancing your chakras. And it's awakening, they just said, the rainbow energy, right? We have indigo children, crystal children, rainbow children, and I'm sure there's something beyond that, the blue rays. But this is activating that rainbow energy, all the colors of the spectrum, all the colors of the rainbow being activated within you, within your soul, within your light body. Embrace your uniqueness, embrace your sensitivity, embrace your psychic gifts, embrace your creative talents, and allow yourself to live your truth. It says live with grace, but I'm going to say live your truth. We've got this crystal within what looks like an etheric crystal here, or at least I don't know what I want to call this shape. It's like a double pyramid, right? We've got a upward pointing pyramid, a downward pointing pyramid. It's like a three-dimensional, almost like a Merkaba, right? It's almost like a Merkaba, where the top triangle spins in one direction and the bottom triangle spins in the other, and it activates us. It helps us to turn certain things on within us, assists us in the evolution and growth. So that's exciting. And then the last stone of choice was the black opal. So people that chose the black opal, special message for the month of September for black opal people. This one's calling my attention. Ancestral realm. Beautiful. I love this. Another portal there. So the ancestral realm says karmic release. Okay, you guys, karmic release, healing the lineage, healing your ancestral lineage. That could be biological genetic lineage. That could be spiritual lineage. Like if you were Atlantean, Lemurian, Egyptian, Avalonian, Celtic, and then it says boundaries. So this really almost shows the Celtic, the stones. It reminds me of Outlander, right? where they travel through the stones. You're traveling through this portal to another dimension to heal the ancestral wounds. This is part of the clearing for you, is healing those very long, deep, and past ancestral wounds that you've carried with you for a really long time. Maybe the ancestral wounds had to do with not having good boundaries, or maybe it had to do with being judged or victimized or persecuted, many things. And so this is a really strong and powerful card. Are you ready to go through this portal? You might want to go and revisit the meditation we did at the beginning of this and at least put one foot through the portal if you haven't done that already, and step through the portal. Allow yourself to be activated with this transmuting fire. We've got this kind of spiral. I don't know if you can see, it's like a catechist spiral, kind of activating the Kundalini energy, activating the DNA, activating your gifts, talents, and abilities. This is part of that alchemy. It's part of that alchemical transformation here with that spiral. It's part of this process right here. So love all of these messages. I hope you loved them too. I won't spend too much more time because we are at like 45 minutes, but thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you, sending you all lots of love and light for a hugely transformative, healing month of September. Namaste, everyone.